Must be dead.
All righty, we'll go ahead and call to order today's Service Authority meeting. Today is May 6, 2025. The time now is 1:30 p.m. The first item we have is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. You did.
Okay. Mr. Martin made a motion to approve the agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye as well. Next item we have citizen concerns and comments. Anybody wishing to address the board here at this time, feel free to come up.
There's been no one signed up for that.
That works. We'll move on. Next item we have is employee recognition. Mr. Costello.
This is the good part.
Yes, sir.
You have a resolution before you, commemorative resolution ACSA 2025 CR1 to honor our utility crew leader, John Daniel Stevens, for his exceptional service to the Amherst County Service Authority and its customers. You want me to read? I can continue.
Yeah,
reading?
go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead and read it.
It reads as such. Be it resolved by the Board of Directors for Amherst County Service Authority, County of Amherst, Virginia. 1, that the Board of Directors of Amherst County Service Authority, County of Amherst, Virginia, offer sincere gratitude and appreciation to Mr. John Daniel Stevens, Service Authority Utility Crew Leader, upon his retirement after 30 years of service to the Service Authority and its customers. Whereas Mr. Stevens joined the Service Authority May 1st, 1995, and is retiring April 30, 2025, after 30 years of service, and whereas Mr. Stevens began with the Service Authority as a senior utility mechanic and advanced through the organization hierarchy to utility crew leader, and whereas Mr. Stevens led, participated, and was instrumental in performing countless water and wastewater, normal, and particularly after hours, infrastructure repairs, line extensions, maintenance of all Service Authority sectors, and much more. And whereas Mr. Stevens has diligently served by way of hard work and superior leadership the Amherst County Service Authority and its customers and the citizens of Amherst County for a total of 30 years. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the Amherst County Service Authority Board, County of Amherst, Virginia, that on behalf of Amherst County Service Authority and citizens of Amherst County, the Board of Directors of Amherst County Service Authority hereby expresses its sincere appreciation and gratitude to Mr. John Daniel Stevens for his exceptional service and wishes him well in all his future endeavors. 2, that this commemorative resolution, ACSA 2025 CR1, shall be in force and effect upon its adoption by the Board of Directors of the Amherst County Service Authority, County of Amherst, Virginia, adopted the 6th day of May 2025. And we have it framed. We have it framed but unsigned. I've got a signed version, version to sign after it's approved, that we can present to Mr. Stevens. But I'd like for Mr. Stevens to come up here and take the unsigned version, if that's appropriate.
That'll work.
On behalf of myself and the authority, thank you for everything you do.
Thank y'all.
There you go. Turn around and look good looking, right?
That's right.
Appreciate it, sir. all the hard work.
Thank you very much.
So, sure we can't keep you another 10? With that, I'll go ahead and make a motion that the board adopt the commemorative resolution, ACSA 2025-CR-001, recognizing Mr. Stevens. So, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye as well. It's approved. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Now, the second thing is we get to recognize a couple employees for their service to the authority. And this, for 10 years of service, this award is presented to Melissa Moorfield. Congratulations on the impact you have had on our organization over the past 10 years. Your contributions over the past decade have helped shape our success. We appreciate and are grateful for your dedication to the Amherst County Service Authority. Thank you on the 6th day of May 25, and it has been signed. So, Melissa, would you please come forward? Thank you. Now, on behalf of myself and the authority, thank you for all you do for our customers and our team.
Thank you, ma'am.
And he's going to have to make another trip. This is part of his physical therapy. 30 years of service. This award is presented to John Stevens. Throughout the past 30 years, you have demonstrated loyalty, professionalism, and made remarkable contributions to our team. Your hard work, passion, and expertise have played a pivotal role in the success of Amherst County Service Authority. Thank you. On the 6th day of May 2025. You can tell your wife you got your steps in. Oh, I won't tell. Okay. And on behalf of myself and the rest of the authority team, thank you for all that you've done for the service authority and our customers.
Thank you. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all, all the hard work over the years. So, thank you. All right. Next item we have is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve? Anything we need to discuss?
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Pugh. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye as well. Next item we have is the ACSA rate approval. Mr. Costello.
Okay. There were a lot of attachments sent to you showing where the thoughts were and where the numbers have come from for this upcoming year's budget for both operations and capital. You have an attachment that actually shows the entire budget. And it, through our providing operating revenues of $5.4 million and expenditures of virtually the same, leaving us a balance of $2,293.08. Particularly in this budget, we'll continue working towards doing the enterprise fund accounting with RDA. That has been a good thing. Am I there? That has been a good tool that we have. It's continuing a work in progress still, but we are making progress with that. Wanted to minimize the rate increases while covering inflation. The CPI for December was 2.9%. The presentation provided to us by by Davenport at the previous meeting recommended a 9%. I've been able to reduce that. Want to continue increasing salaries to support our staff. This budget provides a 3% COLA to cover inflation and a 1% merit pool. Cover the health increases by the increases in our health employee cost and provide a less expensive option for our team. Fortunately, our total increase is 4.7% versus the 8.7 statewide. through the local choice. And I'm proposing to do a high deductible plan with an HSA, which significantly will improve the pain on our employees as far as premiums that way, and also that'd be a benefit to the authority as well. Need to make sure we're meeting our debt service payments and requirements. This upcoming budget, we will be looking to do the raw water financing, either permanent or not, depending on if we need some other additional funding. And the gateway financing for long-term, get those agreements in place. Currently working with county administrator to put together, and Mr. Popovich putting together a memorandum of understanding between the two boards for that. Meet our capital improvement needs and our infrastructure master plan needs. In this budget, I'd also had to increase expenses for power, AEP. They have been in the news a lot of recent with rate increases, and our chemicals and other materials. A number of our vendors are trying to be prepared for the tariff effects, and some of them have already put in place tariff surcharges for that. Fully funding our depreciation expense, which that in turn funds a lot of our capital. The budget meets the 1.15% debt service coverage required by our bond covenants. There's a tab showing our bill consumption data for 23 through March 25, and it shows the trend increasing. You'll see on that particular spreadsheet, it's a sawtooth table, but the overall trend is an increase in consumption for both water and sewer services. The difference is the number of customers and the alternate billing cycles of residential and their consumptions. I have a proposed rate increase of 3.5%. Trying to hold the line, cover inflation as best we can. We did not have a rate increase last year. Last year, we were able to basically cover that with taking our cash funds and putting it into the local government investment pool, generating over $200,000 of income for the authority that didn't go onto the back of our ratepayers. I'm going to continue in the budget. I've actually increased that to $240,000, which is, I think, a conservative estimate for that. We've also proposed to increase the fire protection fees. This was included in our SOAR plan, but we needed to look at that. It is showing basically a 34.9% increase from $73 for the 6-inch and up to $98.55, and a $78 up to $105.30, and that's just covering the inflation cost. We searched and could not find how those original fees were developed. I'm sure they're somewhere in a cost of service study. But that's something we'll be working towards this upcoming years to do a full cost of service study so we know exactly where our costs come from. But they have not been addressed since January 1st of 2015. So that's where that came from. The capital budget is.
Hold on just a second,
Yes.
sir.
Could you go over what that fee covers, how often it's paid?
It is for 28 of our customers that have dedicated fire protection systems going into their structures, whether it's a 6-inch fire protection system or an 8-inch. And it's to help cover the additional cost of having infrastructure in place to supply fire protection.
So is that paid monthly?
It's paid monthly, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
It would be an additional, currently, it's, $1,600 is not a lot of money, and it would go up to $8,800, which is still not a lot of money within our budget. But I didn't know how else to adjust it other than just go with the change due to CPI, since it had not been addressed in years. Our capital budget is funded by depreciation, connection, and system development fees, grant funds from the EPA for the Stream Bank project, the county ARPA funds that have been awarded, gateway funding, VDH. I have submitted the applications within this current funding cycle. Hope that they will begin reviewing in June. Hope to make awards in September, October. So we will know whether those projects will be going forward or not by that time. CBG grant program, there's a couple programs there. There's a straight construction program. And they used to have a self-help program where the community actually did the labor. After spending a lot of money on referee uniforms, whistles, and hard hats, they chose to go to a forced account, having the local utility doing the work because they were doing most of the work anyways. That program we are eligible for based on our percentage of LMI in certain areas. So that was good. That was a good thing to learn. If indeed those funding applications are not awarded, they will not proceed until other board-approved funding is established. I just want to make that very clear, that just because it's approved within our capital budget, unless there's funding for it, I'm not going to ask you to move forward with it. The debt service is in there showing debt service payments and how they go through the year. Debt service coverage shows budgeted coverage in excess of 1.15. The actual for FY24 was 1.24, and for 25, lost my sheet. It's 1.35, I believe. It was that spreadsheet was sent to you. Thought it was in here. Okay. So anyways, at the April 1st board meeting, I presented a proposed solution to dealing with our higher costs for our current health insurance plans. Our current family plan under Key Advantage the full insurance is over $12,000 for the employee portion of that. And that's with the authority paying 65% of that coverage, leaving 35%. That doesn't matter. Oh, there it is. It is 135. Got it. Okay. I knew it was in there. I just couldn't put my hands on it. But it is 135 is what we're budgeting for this coming year. For entry-level staff, between taxes and insurance premiums, doesn't really leave much for real living expenses, housing, and groceries. So I'm proposing to provide our employees with local choice Key Advantage high deductible plan with an HSA. Make this, because this is a different program, I'm proposing to increase our authority percentage for the individual from 80% to 100%, and from the dual and family coverage from 65 to 90%. There is a spreadsheet showing all of that data. This will result in significant premium savings for all of our employees. The individual themselves will save over $2,500 over the year. For a dual, over close to $6,800. And for, this is with the changes in the percentages. And for the family plan, $9,900 in savings. That's cash going to our employees. When I presented this to you, you asked for me to put together a couple packages. Just what to contribute. The HSA contribution is a tax-free method for paying medical bills, including the deductible of the high deductible. I met with other utility leaders in April in Charlottesville, and we discussed how they did it. There's a number of them that do offer an HSA. They range between $1,500 to $2,000 contribution. And my original proposal was $2,500. I determined that to make the transition as painless as possible for our staff. And then there's also a $2,000 proposal showing the the expenses and all of that. So it's totally, I want a direction from the board as to which way to go with this. I feel that we can afford either. I mean, we can, this budget will support either package. I do feel it is a good method for, particularly for an young individual coming into our organization, to have their health insurance paid for. It's one of the, I think, a local government benefit. Currently, we're paying 80% of that premium. We could pay 100% of a much lower premium. It saves on both sides. So I'm open to questions from this. I know there's a lot of information here.
Well, I mean, more of a statement. It is a lot. I guess where I'm coming from on the health insurance is, one, how do these policies differ from the counties? You've been in conversations with Mr. Bryan about that? I mean, are they comparable or?
Actually, I think the basic plan is the same.
Yeah.
But as far as the contributions, the county, I believe, went from $2,000 to $1,500 because of the budget constraints that were forced on the county.
Mm-hmm.
It's just such a big change. I felt it was.
I mean, bottom line, I want to do what's best for the employee. Best coverage they can get, cheapest we can give it to them from the authority. So if you're telling me we can afford to pay 100% with, what was it?
$2,500
$2,500?
being contribution to the HSA.
That's us contributing.
That's the authority contributing that amount.
Have the employees had any input into this?
They have been made aware that this is a possibility.
Any feedback, positive, negative?
We've had a lot of discussions. There have been discussions, we would give up our raises to keep the original insurance program down to what is the authority going to be contributing to, how do we make this work for everybody? And from where I'm sitting, I think this is a good step for us to try. If it doesn't work this year, then we can go back to the other packages that the Key Advantage people offer. But I felt like this was a good way to make a change, minimize the pain, and really put money back into our employees' checking accounts. Because currently, all that money's going to Anthem. I would feel better myself if we're putting it into our employees. They can use it to pay for some of their high deductible. In a few months, they'll meet the rest of that. They can put that into their own HSA. They can contribute additional to their HSA if they want to. Currently, we have a deferred compensation health program where they get the same tax benefit, but after the end of the year, There's only a little bit that can be carried over. The HSA program, that is their money to do with, as they need to in the future for healthcare, so tax-free healthcare. You know, if they stay here for a number of years, or if they choose to leave, which I don't want anybody leaving, if they choose to leave, they take that money with them. That's their funds. It's their benefit.
You understand all that?
No.
Good, because I don't either. So, look, I'm not an insurance expert, all right? But let's say I work for you, all right? And I go out here and I break my leg,
Okay?
all right? Under the insurance I have now is I'd go to the doctor or the orthopedic or whatever, and I'd get my leg fixed, and I'd pay my deductible. And insurance picks up whatever they pick up. So how does this
It's very similar, only the HSA covers, is to pay that, it's there to pay the cost of the deductible.
So, well, maybe this is elementary, but a health savings account.
Correct.
And my understanding of that is usually the employer takes a amount of money out of their check and puts it into this HSA. It's tax-free, it's before taxes. Then they can, so they're not paying taxes on that money. And then you can take that money and you can buy, oh, well, the kids' contacts or the dental deductible or this or that or medications. And typically that's my understanding of a health savings account.
There's two kinds of programs. There's the health savings account, which the other, deferred comp plan. Both of them work very similar to that part. The deferred compensation program, at the end of the 12-month period, you have had to utilize that.
You have to utilize the funds and
Use that
there's no
funds.
rollover.
There's no rollover. The HSA, health savings account, there is rollover. If you do not break your leg that year, those funds roll over to the future year. That is your account. And you
Okay.
can also, it's different than your deferred comp, that HSA can be invested if you choose to do that through the HSA company.
Okay, but what if from my broken leg I had to have, I don't know, rods put in it, whatever? Who covers that cost?
Up to the deductible would be through the HSA.
Once your
HSA.
deductible's met, who,
And it's regular insurance.
okay.
It's regular insurance.
So what with the employees' policies would we be changing other than setting up this health
We would-
saving account?
We would be establishing a health savings account, and
Got it.
we're changing the percentage that the authority is contributing to the individual from 80 to 100%.
So that's good.
We're changing the percentage of what we're contributing to the dual and to the family plans from 65% to 90%.
Great. But what does that do to their coverage? Does their coverage change at all from what they have now?
It becomes then an 80-20 regular insurance, where currently the insurance is a little better package, because it's the key advantage expanded.
Does their deductibles change?
The deductibles, I don't think the deductibles, you've been through this.
If I could speak up a little bit to try to help with this. Basically, as far as the employees go, there's some that are scared to death to go to this thing. There are some that think it's a good thing. And part of that is with the high deductible and the HSA, the out-of-pocket could be $6,600 for a family before insurance kicks in, or it could be up to $10,000 total for out a year for a family. That's why we're doing the health savings account, starting out at $2,500, and the savings the employee gets monthly from not contributing up to 65% or 35% could go to that health savings account to build that up to cover your out-of-pocket expenses.
Well, it sounds
If
like
that
the
makes any
deductible
sense.
goes way up.
Deductible does go up, goes from 200 to 6,600 in a family's case.
From what,
From
20?
200
From $200 to,
to $6,600 in the family case.
well, that scared the crap out of me too.
The difference,
Does it scare y'all? Go on.
it is. It's a significant difference. But the difference is that the premiums come down significantly. So there's actually a savings of $9,900. So that savings can be applied to the deductible going into the HSA if you choose to do so.
So I just hope I don't break my leg until the
It's the,
money builds up, right?
and there is also a credit card available to we'll make a credit card available to our employees that they can go for that's a zero interest, that should on July 16th, you've been out skiing and you break your water skiing and you break your leg, that credit card can take care of the deductible portion, and you will still be making payments as if you were building it up.
Can you pay it back with the health savings account?
I don't know, then I don't know if it's pre-tax or not. That's the
Yeah.
only thing I don't know.
This is just something I've learned from the Amherst HR, that there's that card available, and as I understand it, if you pay it back within a year, there's a zero interest on it. If something were to happen before you have the money built up in your HSA, and you need to fall back on some credit.
All right, so I kind of see that. So what's the other option?
The other option is for us to continue with our Key Advantage Expanded, which is extremely costly to our employees and to the authority.
But I thought you said earlier the budget would
We
take
can
care of
afford
both
it.
of them.
We can afford that. I'm just trying to bring the cost down to our employees, particularly any utility, a apprentice operator, or, some of our lower pay grades positions, that they can afford to come work for us.
And when do you need an answer on this?
Need it today.
All right, so the HSA actually saves the authority.
It saves the authority, but it also that the significant savings to the employee, it's theirs to do as they wish.
Yeah, but that all depends on what coverage they choose. This is just an option that's available if they want to pursue it.
If we go with the high deductible plan, I would need for all of our employees to participate in that to make it work for, otherwise, for the authority does not balance up. I would have to change some things to make, because right now it's looking at a close to $65,000 cost difference.
But if we do this, you're not giving them a choice. They have to do it, right?
Correct.
How many employees do we have?
24
24.
currently.
Now, say we switch plans next year, say this doesn't work out, we switch plans next year. Will the money in the HSA still be available?
It's
to them?
theirs. It's theirs forever
Okay,
until they spend it.
okay.
I'm sorry, one other thing I do want to point out. Currently, the difference between the way I propose we do it and the way the county is doing it is on July 1st, we would be putting in that contribution, the full contribution to give the account a kickstart.
Say that again, because
I
that's
would
what
be
I was
putting
getting
the
at.
full $2,500 into each employee's account when we start the program, to give it a kickstart. Where the county chooses to take the $1,500 and divide it by 12, when they, at the end of the month, it goes into their HSAs. I believe doing it, in other agencies I've talked with, that's the way they do it, is beginning of the fiscal year, they make their annual contribution to the authority, to the employee's HSA. I have personally worked under organizations that have the high deductible HSA, and I still have those funds available to me, because we haven't broke my leg in a while.
So it seems to me that like the first year of this, if something does happen, that would be the year that it would really hurt the employee the most, because you said there's a what deductible, $6,600 deductible?
For the individual, it's $3,300,
For an individual, it's what?
$3,300.
Okay, so that wouldn't be that bad. So the 2,500 would cover, it would be the 2,500 and they'd owe the remaining
Yeah,
amount.
Remaining 800, yes.
Yeah, but for a family, if it's
Now,
66,
of that remaining 800, that could be paid for with their premium savings of over $2,500. For the, with a family, that deductible goes from 200 to 6,600. Their savings is 9,900.
okay, because that'd be a $4,100 difference.
That's $4,100. Correct. Of which we're contributing $2,500.
And they would have an additional $9,000.
Cash
Okay.
to contribute towards that.
Where
they
is that
choose
cash coming from? So is that
It's-
what they're paying?
That's the savings from their current premiums versus what the new premiums will be. The current premium, monthly premium, would be $1,018.50 if we can stay with the Key Advantage Expanded Program.
That's what a family's paying for insurance a month, is 1,000.
Correct.
And then with the high deductible plan, it's $192.20. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
So that's their out-of-pocket, the 1,018 is their out-of-pocket, or is that, or is
their-
that a split between?
No, that is theirs, because the authority is paying $1,891.50. Current, with the new program, the authority would pay, and increasing the percentages from 65 to 90%. The authority would be paying $1,729 per family premium. The employee would be paying, going from $1,018 to $192.50.
So, and you would be putting in $2,500 on top of that. So the high deductible plan is gonna cost the service authority more money,
No.
right?
No. The saving, if we choose to stay with the original plan, the total cost is $347,000. If we go with the high deductible plan, it's $282,000. Okay, savings is $64,000.
And that's including the 2,500 you're contributing?
And that, I'm taking that 64,000 and I divide it by 24, by the number of employees, try to spread it out evenly, and that's where we came up roughly with the $2,500. Still giving me a delta of $4,400.
So tell me if it's gonna cost an employee with a family less, they're gonna save about $9,000,
Correct,
just round numbers. They're gonna have $9,000 more dollars a year in their pocket,
correct.
all right? But their deductible's going up
So
to
there's
$6,600.
There's a net of $3,300.
But we're also gonna put 2,500 in there.
So that's a true net of 5,000.
So why are some employees
It's
not
new.
keen on
This is new, and the actual insurance coverage goes to an 80/20 for everything. That is a significant difference.
80/20?
The typical insurance.
So,
Explain that.
The health insurance company pays 80% of the bill. The employee's responsible for 20,
Up to $6,600 for a family.
after the $6,600.
Oh, after.
After the 66, and I think it goes to 10,000 for max out.
So after the deductible and the insurance kicks in, there's still, for a family, a maximum out-of-pocket of $10,000.
And
So
what
if
is
that-
it now?
So if that happened on day one, that's what the scare is.
So what happens now? What is the max out of pocket?
What is it, $200 deductible?
$200 deductible, and I think
And it's still 80/20, I think.
It's 80/20 up to, I I think it's 6,000, but I don't remember that number off my top of my head, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I guess if everybody saved money and put it back and didn't spend it when they got the additional revenue, additional paycheck, that would be all well and good, but, everyone's different. Sometimes money burns a hole in people's pocket, and no matter how much they make, it all goes out the door. So there is, even though the employees are paying more money under that, that money is available and there when catastrophe does strike. So, there's pros and cons. And then, if I'm looking at this right, basically it's a wash for the service authority. You're paying $347 now. If you look at these other two, you'll still be paying $347, right?
Thereabouts, yes. So we
So-
can afford that.
It's the same either way for the authority. So to me, I ask myself, well, is everybody responsible enough to do that? I don't know. They've been paying, they've been paying this premium. Maybe it's more expensive this year than it has been. If it went up, I think,
Only 4.7,
yeah.
4.7%.
And you're holding there with the raise and everything.
It'll be.
How are they coming
There's a
out?
3% COLA,
Uh-huh.
and then there's a 1% pool of our salaries. It'll be a pool for our merits, depending on where your evaluation is. Everyone's guaranteed a 3% salary increase as a minimum within this budget.
I don't know.
The challenge that was brought to me was that bringing in particularly entry-level people, if they have a family, they cannot afford to work for us because of our health insurance costs. So that we researched and to come up with an answer for that problem. And this is what we've come up with, be able to shift the burden of the premiums from the 65% to 90, 35% down to 10%. Try to bring those individual costs down to the employees. It's not a pretty picture either way we go with this. I was trying to come up with the best solution to deal with that issue. So if we stay with our original Key Advantage expanded, that problem still exists.
You have three choices, right? You got the 250, the 500, or the 1,000, right?
We signed up for the Key Advantage. We can only sign up for 2 programs within Key Advantage because of our size. So this year we signed up for the Key Advantage expanded in case you as a board chose not to make any change.
The Key Advantage 1,000? Or
The Key Advantage high deductible. Last year we did the Key Advantage 1,000 as a possible solution, and I think only one employee chose that. That's why that was asterisked.
All right, so, I'm sorry, but right now we have the Key Advantage
Expanded,
expanded, that's what we have.
correct.
So that's what everybody's on.
Everybody currently is on.
And that's costing $1,078 a month, of which we pay $862.40, the employee pays $215
For an individual.
for an
That's correct.
individual.
That is correct.
For the family, the service authority pays $1,891 and the employee pays $1,018.50.
That is correct.
So what is that dual?
Dual is for an employee and a spouse or employee and a child, one child,
Okay, so it's just like one extra person.
yes. Unfortunately, even though it's just one extra person, under the high deductible plan, it's considered as a family for the deductible.
See, what did we went to a higher deductible which offset a lot of the cost for the county, you know, because I think it was a $250 deductible, which is extremely low from according to the insurance experts.
Yes.
I think did we go to 1,000? That's what we went to. I don't really know how I feel. I kind of said it earlier regarding, you know, that additional money coming in, yeah, but you'd have to pocket $6,600 or at least $4,100 of that to be secure.
Correct.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, quite frankly, the way I feel about it is this is a pretty big decision to make for our employees, and I'm not sure it's been vetted very well with them. I don't know. You say you have to know today. Why do you need to have to know
Because
today?
our open enrollment starts on the 15th of this month and closes at the end of the month. And we have a meeting scheduled tomorrow with all employees, depending on which direction things went here, so we could explain to all employees at the same time what we're trying to do.
I'd be willing to come in and have a special call service authority meeting after you met with them.
Okay.
That's just me. But I'm one voice.
I mean, if I had to make a choice today, it would be to keep the key advantage expanded, but, I mean, I would be open to the suggestion that Mr. Martin made.
Would the board be interested in hearing from an employee?
Yeah, come on up. We got time. Y'all, feel free.
I'm the new old guy. I've only been here since March, but I've been doing this work for 27 years. I came from Nelson County after 20 years. And I'm not against necessarily wholly this program that Mr. Costello is presenting, but it scares me because there's too many unknowns. We haven't had anybody come talk to us about what the program is about. The details of it, prescriptions, I have no idea how prescriptions work. Between my wife and I, we have prescriptions that can be expensive without insurance. So that may automatically eat into any money that we would put in the HSA. Some of us have on our own, primarily, I think Mr. Cunningham has done a little research and found out about a few things about HSAs that seem a little bit negative, but we don't know anything for sure because no one has come and talked to us before this. A number of us, I think most of the folks in the field are willing to forego a raise to have our premiums lowered on the current insurance that we have. I believe that that word came from the office to ask employees, and that was what, at least those of us, most of us in the field. Chris, do you remember how many it was that agreed to that? Pretty much everybody?
I mean, that would go under the circumstances that there would be some offsetting costs.
Right, that we would not do the raise, but that our premiums would be lowered. I think the number that you had come up with was for a family, it could be as low as.
We would have to gone and really broke down that.
Right.
Okay, so.
I know that insurance is expensive. We've been putting a lot of money into it as a family, for my family, but you can't be without it. And this HSA concerns me.
Thank you, Mr. Will. So, Mr. Castillo, what I heard you say, that this really isn't about the raise. We can afford either policy, right?
We can afford either policy.
So the raise is gonna happen regardless.
We can afford either policy, would stay with the Key Advantage, it would be at the same premium percentages.
I got you, but we're not debating giving the 3% raise.
No.
Yeah, okay.
When that was brought to me, I nixed
I
that
understand.
because of future for all of our employees through the VRS.
I understand. I think, honestly, I really don't like getting director versus employees
understand,
and
and I'm not-
stuff. I think maybe you, whomever, should sit down with your employees and talk about the advantages versus disadvantages and get their input. And at the end of the day, you and this board is gonna have to make a decision,
Correct.
right? But I want them to truly understand, I mean, prescription costs is a whole nother thing.
Oh, yeah.
I hadn't even thought about that one. You know,
It-
Mr. Wilbur's a little older
I
than
know.
me, but, you know.
We have been
he's got
trying
more
to have individual conversations.
sixth.
Oh.
It's May sixth, and
We-
May 15th is just around the corner.
But he has to make a decision about the, enrollment starts May 15th.
Starts May 15th.
So when do you need a,
We'd have to
If
meet
I
next
could
week,
meet sometime next
Or
week.
we can make a decision right now.
or you can make a decision.
But we did have individual conversations with employees,
Yeah.
but until I knew
If I
which
have to
way we
vote
were
today,
going,
let's keep it so.
I could not meet with everybody at one time.
well, I'll go ahead and make a motion, we keep it the same for this year. So, rather than jump into the, high deductible plan, so, I think this is something we can look into next year. I think I'd recommend bringing it to us a little sooner, that we have time to evaluate and get your folks' feedback. So
Okay.
with that, motion on the floor to keep the expanded plan as is. All those in favor say aye. I vote
Okay,
aye as well.
thank you. I needed the direction and I've got it. Thank you.
Next item we have is the
May-
informational report.
I want to make
Yes, sir.
one more statement.
Yeah, go ahead.
I do appreciate very much the board's support of our team. You guys have always been very supportive. I've worked with other groups that have not been. So I want to thank you for your continued support of our team.
Well, they're our most important resource.
They are.
Yet, before we go on, because we got to vote on moving this forward to public hearing, right?
That's the second thing I do need, is the rate structure.
Before we do that, water rate's going up 3.5%.
Correct.
Sewer rate is
Give me a second.
what,
It is,
3.5.
3.5?
You want to talk about fire protection?
both are at 3.5. The current, the 100 cubic foot rate would go from 622 in water to 644. For sewer, goes from 950 to 983. There is a proposed $1 increase in the service charge for water and a $2 service charge increase for sewer. Several years ago, that was missed. Was approved but never enacted upon, so I'm trying to catch that up.
And the fire protection is just, you said 22,
28 customers
28 customers that have separate fire lines going in.
into their structures, yep.
All right. Mr. Chair, if I may, I'd make a motion that the ACSA Board approve the ASA's Executive Director to advertise for a public hearing on June 3rd, 2025 for fiscal year 26 rates and fees adjustments.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Martin. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Vote aye as well. Thank you, Mr. Martin. All right, next item we have is the informational report. It is there in your docket. Mr. Castillo, if you want to hit the highlights for us.
I will do that. Second to the right pages here. We've begun working on the projects for the infrastructure master plan. One of the things that I do want to point out is, I think this upcoming year, I need to do a cost of service study to really understand where our rates were derived from.